What's up you guys? My name is Jackie and welcome to my channel, Leisure Reads. Today we are going to be filming a video that I have been putting off for a good while now. The other day was looking at my shelf and I was like, you know what? I have too many books. I can't do this. Let's get rid of some. So I have next to me 2 stacks of books that I'm going to be getting rid of. I am hopefully going to be moving soon, so I want to have as little as possible to... Hopefully I'm going to be moving pretty soon, and I want to have as little as possible when I do that. I have decided that I want to be a little bit more picky about what books I own and what books I put on my shelf. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the time I was going through my shelf, it was a game of where the heck did this book even come from? So, if you don't know, when I was in college, I lived in Baltimore, Maryland. There is a place in Maryland that gives out free books. It is called the Book Thing. And these books are donated by schools, libraries, just people in the area. They bring them to the Book Thing, drop them off, and then everyday people get a chance to go in there, pick up these books, and take them home. There is no limit. They have boxes and bags provided for you, so you can literally just walk in, grab as many books as you want, and leave. My husband and I have been there a few times, and unfortunately, it is a dangerous place for us. So now we have a ton of books and not a ton of space for them, so I'm going to be getting rid of some of them. But with that said, let's get to these stacks of books. The first group that I want to talk about is a group of books, and unfortunately I wanted these books to go to a very nice home as a whole set, but they were against the wall in my house, and they got some water damage, so unfortunately I had to get rid of many of these books. So this is no longer a complete series, and it seriously breaks my heart because I absolutely love these books, but I don't think I need to hold on to them anymore, so I am going to unhaul them. And those are A Series of Unfortunate Events, The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, The Wide Window, The Miserable Mill, The Austere Academy, The Hostile Hospital, and The End. So, if you don't know, these are actually books 1 through 5, 8, and 13. Like I said, I had the whole series, but a lot of them got water damage, so I had to get rid of them. I don't want to send random books to a family in need, so I'm going to either be donating these to a library or to Goodwill, somewhere where other people can find them and love them just as much as I did. Along with that series is also going to go Lemony Snicket, an unauthorized autobiography. My mom bought this for me a while back because I absolutely loved the books and I wanted to read this as well. But if I'm getting rid of those, I might as well get rid of this too. The next 2 books are going to be by the same author. Unfortunately, they got pretty damaged in a car ride a couple years ago, so I will also be getting rid of these. And that is The Weight of Silence and The Hidden Things, both by Heather Gundenkoff. These are like mystery thriller books. I did really enjoy them, but unfortunately, if you can see, this one is completely wrecked. I think one of the drop-down seats got it, unfortunately, so these are both going to go. The next is a series that I recently read. This probably breaks my heart the most out of all of them to get rid of because it is a beautiful box set of paperback books, but I read the series, they weren't my favorite, I don't think I'll ever reread them, so I don't see any reason they should be taking up space on my shelf. And that is the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. Now, this breaks my heart because, as you can see, these are the gorgeous covers, but I recently read these books, they weren't my favorite, and unfortunately, I just don't have the shelf space to keep holding on to these, so I'm going to get rid of these as well. The next book is American Street by E.B. Zeboy. So I actually found this audiobook on Hoopla, and I'm going to pick it up and read it. I have already started it. I am really enjoying it. but I need the shelf space, so this one's gotta go. The next book is Caravel by Stephanie Garber. This is the same situation. I recently found this audiobook on Hoopla. I plan on listening to it in the next week, so again, I don't have the shelf space, and this one is gonna go. Next up, we have Jar of Glass by Brad Barkley and Heather Helpler. So I actually got this book back when I was in college. I started reading it, got like halfway through it, and just never continued. It's not that it's a bad book, I just put it down and never picked it up again. And I forgot I had this book. It was sitting on a different shelf that I never look at, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it at this point. I don't really feel like restarting it all over again, so see ya. Next we have Lake Wobegon Days by Garrison Keillor. This is a book I picked up for, I believe, $1 at a local bookstore. Again, it was an impulse buy. I saw it, picked it up because it was only $1. And I really want to stop doing that, so I'm going to be getting rid of this book as well. Next up is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. This is a book that I originally wanted to read. I was very intrigued by it. Since getting it, it has just sat on my shelf. I believe this was another free book. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. If I do, I'm sure I can find the audiobook somewhere. Next we have Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by, obviously, Lewis Carroll. I read the first book for a readathon last year, but I did use the audiobook, so if I decide to read any more, I'll probably just pick up the audiobook from Hoopla or Overdrive. Next, I have 2 thrillers that were sitting on my thriller shelf, but I obviously want to clear out space for that one because those are my favorite books, and I want to read more thrillers that are very highly anticipated for me. So these ones are just gonna go, and that is Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gunderson. This one sounds interesting, but not interesting enough for me to keep, unfortunately, so I'm gonna give this another home. I also have Cold Hands by Claire Curzon. This was a free book, I can tell, because of the stamp on the inside. That means I got this from the book thing in Baltimore, which is really my downfall in life. So I think I'm gonna avoid that place from now on. Next up are 2 more books by the same author. These ones I have a hard time getting rid of because while I haven't read them yet, I did hear really good things about them. That is going to be The Cuckoo's Calling and The Silkworm, both by Robert Galbraith. I still haven't gotten around to picking these books up. They've been sitting on my shelf forever, and I'm not super excited about reading them. I've heard good things about them, but I know for a fact that if I want to read either of these books, I can find them at my local library or as an audiobook on Overdrive. So I'll probably read them that way. Next up is a collection of short stories, and that is Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. I have read all of the Lunar Chronicles, and I actually gave them to my sister-in-law so she could read them. I will probably give her this as well. I have not read these yet. I don't really feel compelled to right now. This way she'll have the entire collection, including the short stories, and if I still want to read them, I can always borrow them from her. So that is where this book is going to go. Next on this list is Road to Nowhere by Paul Robertson. This is another book. I have absolutely no clue where it came from. None. I think it came from the book thing, but I don't know. It just appeared on my shelf. And I still never read it, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. Next is Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress by Dai Shi. I have tried picking this book up several times and reading it, but I can never get past the first few pages, so this is another book that I'm just going to have to say see you later to. And next we have The Help by Catherine Stockett. This is a book that I got back when I was in high school, maybe, and I still haven't read it. This is another well-known book, and I'm sure that if I one day get the urge to read it, I can find it in audiobook or at my library. Next I have Hunted by Elizabeth Heiter. This is actually an advanced uncorrected proof that I picked up from someplace. I don't know where. And again, it's just sat on the shelf. It was a free book anyway, so there's no harm in getting rid of it. And finally, for the last book in this Book Unhaul is Brick Lane by Monica Ali. Fun fact, I actually had this in one of my last unhaul piles. I haven't filmed any of these before, but I had this in a pile of books that I was going to get rid of. and then I second guessed myself and pulled it out, but since then I haven't read it, and it hasn't even been on my shelf. It's been sitting on a table in the living room for ever, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this book. I'm sure if I want to read it, I can find it somewhere else. So that is it. Those are the books that I am, unfortunately, those books just fell. So that is it. Unfortunately, I am going to be getting rid of all of those books. I just really want to clear up some shelf space and save my sanity a little bit. I really want to focus on having books that I care about or I am excited to get to on my shelf. Like I said, they will probably be going to either the library or my local Goodwill. There aren't very many places around me where I can donate books, so if there were any books in this unhaul that you have read and you recommend to me, please leave them down below. That will not keep me from getting rid of these books, but I might go through the library and try to look some of them up if you guys recommend them. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. The links are in the description below. I hope to see you guys again soon, and in the meantime, make it a great day. Bye!